Okay, so today we're going to be doing a product rule example, and this actually involves using a couple of extra rules here. So you can see that we have a number to a function. So we're going to have to use an extra rule. So when we have any number, so b to the f of x to a function, we can take the derivative of that, which is b to the f of x, so the same thing that was there, and then ln b times ln b, so b, the ln of that number, b, and then times the derivative of f prime of x, which is the derivative of the function, the exponent. And then we're also going to have to do the product rule because it's multiplying. So we're going to have f times g prime plus g prime times f prime. And that's going to give us our derivative, f prime of x. So using those two rules, we can start to factor, but first we're going to want to simplify the equation to get rid of that fraction. So we can change it to f of x equals 7x squared plus 5x to the negative 1, because there's 1x. Sorry, 5x to the negative 1. And then the second part, nothing needs to change, so we'll just write it out again. 2 to the negative x plus e negative 5 to the x. So there, since it's a function, or e to a function, we actually have another rule, and that is ln of e equals 1. So that's going to come into use when we take the derivative of the second part. So let's list our terms here for the product rule. So we're going to list our f, g, and our g prime and f prime terms. So that way we can just sub them in to the formula. So f is going to be 7x squared plus 5x to the negative 1. And then g is going to be 2 to the negative x plus e to the negative 5x. So then now we have to take the derivative of both of those parts. So we're going to have f prime, which is going to be 14x minus 5x to the negative 2. So we brought down the 2, multiplied it by 7, which is 14, and we subtract 1 from the 2, which just gives us x. And then we're bringing down the negative 1, which is why that plus is changing to a negative. So we're going to have negative 5x, and then we're subtracting 1 again, so x to the negative 2. And that's our f prime. And then for g prime, this is where our first extra rule is going to come into play. So for the first part, because there's the plus, so we have to take the derivative of both parts. So for the first part, we're copying the first part, so 2 to the negative x. And then we have ln b, so ln of 2. And then we're going to have the derivative of the exponent, so that would be negative 1. So that's the derivative of 2 to the negative x. And then for the second part, the plus e to the negative 5x, we're going to have, let's write it underneath, it will be e to the negative 5x times ln e, or 1. I'll just write ln e for now. And then to the negative 5, because the derivative of negative 5x. So ln e is equal to 1. So when we put it into the equation, we're going to just change it to 1. Save space. So now we can just sub our terms into the equation, and it will give us our derivative. So f prime of x equals 7x squared plus 5x to the negative 1, so our f term, times 2 to the negative x ln 2 times negative 1. So this is g prime plus e to the negative 5x times 1, so the ln e turns into the 1, times negative 5. So that's going to be our first half of the equation. That's f times g prime. So now we're going to be adding the second part, which is going to be g. So our g variable, 2 to the negative x plus e to the negative 5x. So there's our first part, and then it's multiplied by f prime, so then we have to plug in f prime. So 14x minus 5x to the negative 2. And that's all you have to do, unless the question asks you to simplify, but in this case we're not simplifying it, so you can just leave it like that, and that's how you solve this product rule.